Welcome back to the channel, my friends. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and today we're taking a look at this week's Sunday preview. This video is sponsored by CMO Games. More on that later. Sunday preview. Warhammer Age of Sigmar starter sets arrive. The new edition of Warhammer Age of Sigmar is here, and dip your toe, you can pick up one of the many new starter products coming out next week. But no less savage game, new releases for Warcry are sure to satiate your hunger. So there's a little video right here, but we're going to take a look at the full article. Alright, so we have the new Warhammer Age of Sigmar starter sets. So we have first the introductory set. This one's going to include the 6 paints, the push out models, some dice, a little game board, and then the rulebook and a paintbrush. Everything you need to play. This one should be priced somewhere around like $65 based on the Warhammer 40k prices. And overall, I think this is a great jumping off point for somebody who's never played a tabletop game, or if you're interested in getting a friend to just sit down and play a game with you, you're intimidated by having a ton of models or not knowing what to get. This is perfect for brand new players. Next, we have the Warhammer Age of Sigmar starter set. So this one should be priced somewhere around like $100 to $125. This includes some larger forces. You're going to get the Stormcast, you're going to get the Skaven. You got 2 range rulers, some dice, and then the fold out game board. You're going to get the handbook, which has all the rules you need to get started. And this is more of like your mid-tier starter set. Overall, decent value relative to like buying individual kits. Doesn't include any of the paints or anything like that, but you get a lot more models, which is going to give you an overall better gaming experience and a nice starter set, but not necessarily ideal. And the reason I say that is because the actual like beginner starter set is very clearly for people that are brand new to the hobby. And then the ultimate starter set is for people that want to play Spearhead or break off into like the larger versions of the game. This one includes 2 full Spearhead forces. It includes all your cards, your range rulers, a little bit of terrain. You're going to get some dice. You're going to get the actual handbook to play the game. Probably going to be priced somewhere around like $210. And I think if you're going to get one of the starter sets, it should be either the introductory set with the paints and a limited amount of models, or it should be the ultimate starter set. But to tell you the truth, as long as Skaven is available, I always think Skaven is the way to go. If this is priced at $210 roughly, Skaven is priced at $265. And honestly, you just get a lot more in Skaven that, in my opinion, makes it worth going that route. This isn't a bad starter set by any means, and if Skaven is not available when you're watching this video, there's nothing wrong with this starter set. But as long as Skaven is available for only like $50 to $55 more, I definitely think that's the way to go, because it gives you everything you need to get started, everything you need for Spearhead, and then also has everything you need for big Age of Sigmar. You're not quite going to have 2,000 points, but you're so close at that point in time, you can pick out a couple of like key kits, build out your army, and be ready to go with Skaven and Stormcast. And then moving on from there, we have the paint sets. So we have a Stormcast Eternal paint set, and then we have a Skaven paint set as well. Each one is going to include 6 paints, including 1 shade paint, a brush, and 3 models, or 6 paint pots, including 1 shade, 1 brush, and then 5 models if you get the Skaven. You're not really going to be able to play games with this setup or anything like that, but it's an introductory if you want to just get started painting models. I've done some videos previously on what like starter paint sets I would recommend. I've also talked a lot about what paints I personally use. I don't think these are bad, and they tend to be like pretty decent values. But to tell you the truth, I don't see a ton of point in like these paint sets, as you get a very limited amount of models, you get a very limited amount of paints. And for the price you pay, there's just a lot of other better products you can buy. These are probably going to be priced somewhere around like $35 to $40, but we'll be back with that tomorrow. And then finally, we had the Warhammer Age of Sigmar paint and tool set. So this one should be priced around $45. It's going to include your clippers. It's going to include your mold line remover, 1 paintbrush, and then you're going to get a total of 13 paints, including 1 shade. And I think this is the better route to go. It's going to give you a little bit more diversity in the actual paints in your set. It's going to give you your primary colors and everything you need to just paint in general. And then from there, you can move on with a couple models. I find that the actual models in like the other starter sets sort of give off like a perceived value that's not real. I would rather get more paints if I was just getting started, because it's always easy to get some free models, or most people already have some models that they're excited about painting. So I would always recommend going this route over one of the Skaven or Stormcast starter paint sets.
Now a quick message from today's sponsor. CMO Games has been selling Games Workshop products online for over 20 years. They carry the full line of Games Workshop products, including Warhammer 40,000, Age of Sigmar, necromunda, Blood Bowl, paint tools, and more. Almost all Games Workshop products are priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games takes pre-orders for most Games Workshop products released at their earliest date possible. 12:01 a.m. on Saturday, they go live. Most of these pre-order products are also priced at 15% off MSRP. CMO Games offer free shipping in the US 48 with an order of $50 or more. Their customer service is top-notch, and they ship most orders within 24 hours. Visit CMOGames.com using the affiliate link in the description and let them know that you heard about CMO Games from Warhammer Man. Now, back to the video.
All right, and then moving on from there, we're into Warcry. So I've got to say, I am super excited for this. The early launch of like the new Kill Team expansion kind of made it feel like this has been delayed. But in all reality, this is right along time with like the normal schedule for what they would normally release these quarterly expansions at. So this is the new Briar and Bone set. It's the sort of like corrupted Sylvaneth versus the Osiark Bone Reapers. A bunch of cool new models and then a new terrain piece as well. And I am very excited for this. I will definitely be picking this up. It's a life and death battle in the Gnarlwood as the Tyrannic cohort attempt to harvest the bone tithe from these corpse-strewed wilds, coming face to face with the warped and tortured Twistweld in Warcry Briar and Bone. Alongside these two new warbands that contains a new Ravening Gnarloak scenery piece, a chain tree that can gulp down fighters whole, a 64-page softback warband, Tome Briar and Bone, 12 fighter cards, 3 ability cards, and 3 divider cards, and 42 battle plan cards. Those Osiark Bone Reapers who have failed Nagash may be reformed into lower constructs. These heretic cohorts are tailor-made to efficiently track down and hunt their foes in an effort to redeem their shame. The Sylvaneth, known as the Twistweld, are riddled with terrible parasitic plants that drive them mad with rage, torn between spreading their seeds to new hosts and purging all infections from the Gnarlwood. Alright, so here we have the 2 new warbands. I absolutely love the new Sylvaneth. They're basically like a twisted, sort of corrupted Sylvaneth, something we've never seen before. We essentially have 3 of your regular Dryads, and then we have 3 Tree Revenants and 1 Spite Revenant, all corrupted with some cool new models to go along with them and some new rules. And then we have like our corrupted Caster as well. Very, very cool models. Definitely a big fan of these. And then we had the Osiark Bone Reapers, and I absolutely love the direction they went with this. Again, just all new models right here. We have like 2 base fighters, and then we have 2 awesome new flyers. 3 basically like bone construct dogs, and then we have an awesome centerpiece Minotaur. And I just love the direction they're going with these Warcry warbands. Essentially just thinking outside the box and creating some brand new stuff for us to add to our miniature ranges and then also to the game. And then we have the Ydrilan Riverblades. So these were the ones in the previous box set. These are basically like your High Elves or Lumineth Realm Lord. Very cool new models right here. These are like the water aspect of the Lumineth. And then we have the Pyregheists. And this is our new Night Hunt Warband, again in that same previous Pyre and Flood box set. Again, just some very beautiful models right here. Super cool new stuff. Nice, unique look to them. I love the flames. I love the overall look of the Warband. Very cool to see them individually offered. And then we also have the Idol of the Old Ones. And this was the terrain piece that was featured in that same box set. Now available for individual purchase. And then we have coming from Black Library, Lioness of the Parch, a Cities of Sigmar story. We have Blacktalon. And this is going to be telling the story of Knave. So lots of cool stuff coming out this week. The starter sets obviously are a little early on the backs of the recently released Skaven Tide launch. I still think that's the best way to go as it is just packed with value. But very excited for the new Warcry set, Briar and Bone. I absolutely love the new terrain piece. I'm really looking forward to the new warbands and rules. Very, very exciting week for Warcry players, as essentially a lot of stuff was delayed to not take away from like some of the steam for the launch of Skaven Tide and Sigmar. So now we're seeing kind of catch up from Games Workshop as they release Necromunda, Dwarves for the Old World, and now our Warcry expansion. So super exciting. Let me know what you're most excited about, what you're going to be picking up. It's definitely a Briar and Bone week for me. Always like to hear back from you guys in the comments. And as always, special thanks to CMO Games for sponsoring the channel. Check out the link in the description to save 15% on Games Workshop products. That's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios, I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.